What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at one to watch Semedo, and straight off the bat we are seeing the gold card. I did actually get him on a loan on the Friday. We managed to get a loan pack that I think if you played from like the start of the game to the 9th, you managed to get a free 4-player loan for one to watches. So I did have him there. Obviously I already had the footage ready for it just before, obviously knowing that he's going to be exactly the same rating. But then also on the night time I managed to pack him. Untradeable, of course. We don't get anything good tradable, but 120k he is currently, or 125. He was 160 after packing him, so he has dropped down a bit. Obviously, a right back is a bit difficult to get into a team of the week consistently. Yes, 1 or 2 times, maybe. Could that be enough to make this card somewhat desirable, or even just remotely worth investing in for maybe the future? Obviously mine is now completely untradeable, so he will be in the team, or at least in the club for quite a long time, because I do like to see if these cards do go up, and obviously we are trying to get as many of them upgraded. Done a review as well, so obviously we got Odegaard and Partey this week, which both got upgraded, and luckily I had both of the one to watches. Well, they're the only 2 that I had, so it's lucky that it had been them 2. But going into Semedo then, he is a 4-star skiller with a 3-star weak foot. He is 5'10", playing for Wolves, and is Portuguese with the high defensive work rate and the medium attacking work rate. Currently 26 years old. Obviously he had a little bit of a kind of stint at Barcelona. I don't personally know too much about him. Obviously he's brand new to the Prem, but for Barca I've not heard... It's not that I've heard bad things, but I've not heard amazing things from him. We are going in from the era of kind of, I don't know, Sergio Roberto was relatively new. I can't remember who had Dani Alves, in fact it was. I was thinking who else has they had at right back, but Dani Alves obviously was the chief. He was the big right back in that team. Very much a long-standing player at Barcelona. And Semedo, I don't think, cut it too much. Whereas at Wolves, he's got a lot of his Portuguese teammates, which is, I think, a running joke now, but it's actually insane to see, as obviously they are doing pretty well throughout since coming back up, basically. So very good for that, and I'm interested to see what he can do for Wolves, and can we see a couple of informs from him? I'm hoping we do, because it means that my card goes up. But in general, in terms of the stats, we've got the 92 pace, which is phenomenal. We've got good dribbling at 82 for a right back. That's not bad at all. 79 composure, which isn't the greatest, but again, at this start of the game, I'm not too focused on that just yet. If we were 2-3 months deep, I'd be looking and thinking, could we improve that? Maybe we've got some informed cards, maybe there's some sort of upgrade to him. Defensively, no heading at all, pretty much. He's got no jumping really, but heading accuracy is 58, which is quite low for this card. And the same with his passing, to be honest. 69 is not great for a right back, because normally your centre backs are the ones to have lower passing, because then they're passing out to the wings. They're just passing out to the left back and right back, who's then going to go down to the wings. With this card, 76 short pass is very limited, and I think chemistry style, they've gone for anchor, mainly to get that defending and physical up. I don't know if you necessarily need an anchor, because his pace is already 93 on the base. That would take him up to a 97 paced 85 right back. For me, could you just go with Sentinel? I don't know if that makes much of a difference, to be honest. We lose with a Sentinel, we get 86 defending, 81 physical. With an anchor, we get 84 defending and 83 physical, but then the 97 pace. That probably does make sense then. We'd end up with, obviously, 91 sliding, 90 standing, in fact, and then 90 sliding. We have 92 stamina, 76 strength, and 86 aggression with 86 interceptions. The card overall is not bad at all. We see a lot of high defensive work rates in terms of the right back, and I think he's one that really shows what you can do up and down the wing. We have got Mendy the other side, so he's going to really show him what a left back, right back can do, to be honest. He's got incredible stats throughout, and obviously he has got the kind of meta animation as such. But Semedo coming in on his gold card as well, just to kind of hit note on them. 38,000 coins. Not bad. I think it's worth a pickup if you are looking for quite a, I don't know if you can call him a cheap right back. 38k isn't massively priced, but For me, I think that's pretty good. He then has the 97 pace with the anchor as well, because they're exactly the same stats right now. Obviously, this one to watch will go up if he does manage to get into the team of the week or any performance base. So let's have a look what he did in game, and then we'll go to the end review. One thing I did like about Semedo going into the gameplay, interceptions were on point. Very, very good at that. He was always in the right position when it comes to it. He does pull across as well quite nicely. We see his heading ability. Like I said, it's not amazing, and I think he isn't necessarily more in the air. He is very much on the ground sort of player. He can block, intercept, tackle. He could do all of that, and I think that's why I think 38,000 coins for him really isn't that bad. And in terms of kind of bringing it down the wing, he has the pace. Even if he doesn't have the ability to kind of make them absolute destroying passes, he still can get the ball to them. Just because it's not necessarily amazingly high, he still can pass it. It's just really the consistency of it, I think, is going to be the main question that you have with him. But for 38,000 coins, rather than going for his one to watch, I think that's definitely worth a deal. Other than that, you're looking at Trent, especially Prem-wise. You're looking at Trent. Cancelo isn't a bad one. I think he's very similar, but with a lower stat range. But again, you're not paying for the you're paying for the rating really then, rather than the name. Names don't really mean anything to start with in terms of their stats. That happens later on in the game when you've got Mbappe's and Neymar's flying everywhere. Whereas right now, Semedo's not everyone's first choice, but with the stats that he's got, he most definitely could be. He has the Portuguese link, which obviously Bernardo, and then Bruno as well. So a very interesting choice. So going into the overall for Semedo, as you can see with the links, Bruno, Bernardo, Figo. 3 good players right there, all down the right hand side or in the middle. Obviously with Bruno you'd have to have a centre mid really, or I think there is probably a position that you can have a cam there. It's mainly just for linkage, if anything. Figo is not a bad right winger. We got him, I think it's about 5 or 6 foot champs rewards in last year, and we got that exact version. So you never know, we could see him again. I don't think he costs a huge amount. Other Portuguese that we'll have a look. We got the big boys, we got Ronaldo, obviously, but you've got to really put him down from striker to CDM. It would take something heavy to try and link him there. Eusebio being the exact same. Bruno does have an inform, but I thought I'd go with a gold card for this one, just because if you're going for a Semedo, not necessarily the most expensive right back in the world, so I'm thinking, do you have the kind of budget to try and get a Ronaldo, a Eusebio, or an informed Bruno? We've got Rui Costa, Deco, even Luis Figo is the one we've got. Is there another one? I feel like there was another one. Deco, Rui Costa, Figo, Eusebio. Pretty much all of the Portuguese icons. I think there is only 4 still. In terms of others, Rafa, not really. You've got Pereira, who's another competitor, and I completely forgot about him, to be honest. As an 85, he has the better defensive and probably the more all-round approach, but doesn't have that pace. Moutinho being a teammate, Ruben Neves, another quality player right there, and then we've got a few of the kind of lower ones we're going into, the kind of lower Portuguese league, if anything. In terms of stats, like I said, pace is the big thing for him, and that's probably what's holding his price so far up, as obviously Wolves are a nice team, but they're not like a Real Madrid or a Barca. They're not holding the weight of the players. He's an 83 with mad amount of pace. Defending wise, it's probably about right. It seems that chemistry styles are what carrying the stats above and beyond now. Even with Trent as an 87, doesn't look an 87 whatsoever. You put a chemistry style on him and watch his animations, he's actually not that bad, and I think he plays definitely a lot better than his stats, and I think personally Semedo is relatively the same. Passing wise was a little bit of a worry, didn't notice too much wrong with him, but he does have them tendencies to kind of knock the ball out of play, going for that ball down the wing. Sometimes that can be an issue, but it all depends on the style you play. If you like your 1-2s, then obviously he's going to be really fine, to be honest. And then his dribbling is something that I'd probably take. I think for a right back, it's not bad. Definitely with the agility and balance being above 80 and agility being 87, I think that could definitely work. In terms of the basic then, that turns him into an 84. So I think in terms of the chemistry style that we show here, Sentinel is actually the best. And it's an interesting one because obviously the pace side of it, and I think it's mainly on his one to watch. His one to watch, in fact, does say that Anchor is the best. But again, there's only 20 people that are voting, so for me, I would probably have gone with the Sentinel. it just manages to boost them up even more, and I think it takes it to an 85 dead, whereas you get an 85.4 if you whack the anchor on. It all depends on if you want to sacrifice them, 2 defending and 1 and 2 physical. Yeah, 2 defending and 1 in fact, the anchor actually raises the physical up even more. So it is literally the 2 defending. That's all you're missing out on to then try and get an extra 5 pace, an extra 2 physical. I think that probably is kind of worth it, and I could see why people would choose it. Even though he is already 93 on the base, you can never have too much pace. Unless it's 99, realistically, that's sort of kind of the chemistry style you want to go for. In overall, I've given him an 8 out of 10. I feel like he could get better, but I don't feel like this one is the one to invest in. Right back and left backs are very, very hard to get any informs, just because they normally have to keep a clean sheet and more than likely score a goal, and hope no other left back and right back in the kind of whole football has scored as well. So it is very difficult. I don't see too many informs coming for him. Maybe 1 or 2, but that's probably where it stops. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know down below what you want to see next. I'll see you for the next one. Peace.